And a very good evening and a warm welcome on this very cold Friday night to Friday Night Live with the Blue Toon podcast. I am Colin Byers, and with me, as usual, is Martin Smith. And Martin, bit breezy again up here in the northeast. Other than that, how are you?
Yeah, me too. But it's blown a hooey, as I would say up here. It's cold as well. It's wet. It's just northeast of Scotland, is it really? Let's be
Just
honest.
Yeah, just typical kind of weather. But to warm us up this Friday night, delighted to say we are pleased to be joined by one of the most decorated players to ever play pull on a Peterhead shirt in terms of pedigree. Over 70 international caps, a League Cup winner, and a winner of numerous individual awards. Pleased to say we have got Niall McGinn. Niall, welcome to the Blue 2 podcast. How are you?
All good, thanks. Thanks for having me. Just thawing out after standing out for 2 hours coaching at Cormac Park. But I'm glad I'm in the hot comfort now of the house. Thank God.
Yeah. Kind of maybe answer the question there already, but on a Friday night, what would you normally be doing at this time?
Yeah, I've just the good thing about me, I've obviously started my coaching badges over the last probably 3, 4 to 5 years. I started my B license. I just wanted to start my coaching journey and start my coaching badges while I was still playing, because it's like anything. It's once you start playing your sort of football, you're sort of playing catch up. Whereas nowadays, people are wanting for qualifications. People are needing B license holders, especially A license now with McInnes in the Aberdeen Academy as well. So I've been starting working with Aberdeen now under 14s since September. I help out with the 15 sometimes, and then 17s just an odd training session here and there. So now it's good to get back to familiarity and just sort of giving back to that club that obviously helped me so much over the years. And I bought my house in Aberdeen. I've been here for a long time now. I know the city well and stuff. And then obviously still have an opportunity of playing football as well at a good level with Peterhead. So it all stems together really, really good.
So over the past 20 years or so, how has your Friday nights changed then? Have they dramatically changed over the last few years?
Yeah, massively. Friday nights has always been just soon as training's finished, maybe go for a bit of lunch and just get home and just rest as much as I possibly can. And obviously have my usual dinner and stuff, whether it's chicken pasta in the evenings, and have a nice wee warm bath for 20 minutes and just chill and watch football probably. And watching football in Scotland, or just watching football in the BBC iPlayer of games back home in Northern Ireland as well. So now very, very, very different now that I'm much the sameness in the sense of just relaxing during the day and then just coaching probably a couple hours on a Friday night, and then just getting myself ready obviously towards the weekend, because obviously I have my own match on a Saturday, and then I usually have a youth match on a Sunday as well. So my evenings are very fun packed with coaching and with training. But now I'm loving it, which is good. And that's just a wee insight into sort of the coaching side of things, which is good for me as well, because I'm learning off good quality coaches around the Aberdeen Academy.
You still love it a Friday night when it's cold, wet, and windy, and you're out training with the under 15s.
The only better thing now is I can wear hats, gloves, and Under Armours, coach jackets. So I'm well wrapped up. But to be honest, I'd rather be running about training than standing, obviously coaching and watching, etc., etc. So yeah, no, it's a big change. But I think West Hill in general, Cormac Park, is just different weather from anywhere else.
So, as ever, we are live on Facebook. So, if you have any questions you want to get into Niall, we will do our best to get them on through the episode. But, Niall, let's take you right back to the beginning then. Let's talk about your early career. How did you start off in football? What was your kind of early influences?
I think it was just me and my brother and just my local friends around my housing estate. I think back then we didn't really have massive opportunities. We didn't really have a lot of like football academies to go to. But if I'm being honest, Gaelic football was my first love. So Gaelic's obviously a massive sport in Ireland, Gaelic and hurling. So I was always Gaelic at primary school and obviously secondary school as well. And soccer at the time, football would have been just secondary, and it was always just more enjoyment more than anything. So Gaelic was just my first love, and then it always just we used to. I'm from a small village back in Ireland, so it's a wee village called Doneckmore in County Tyrone. But we used to just have wee tournaments against other housing estates where. Like my housing estate was called Lismore, so we were always probably called the Lismore Destroyers because we were always a better team than most other teams. So it was mainly my brother, close friends around my local housing estate where I played. It was just jumpers down on the ground and playing against the wall and just doing anything to play football. But I joined a fun week when I was very young at Dungannon United Youth. And I think just from joining that fun week, I just did so well that the coaches were on to me straight away saying, I would love you to come and play for the youth teams. And yeah, just end up playing for Dungannon Youth the whole way through to obviously making my debut in the Dungannon Swifts first team. And that was my real first feel of obviously soccer. I never really played for Northern Ireland youth teams or anything. I was always at the Milk Cup tournaments, under 14s, under 16s. And then I was just always Gaelic football because I always felt it was very good Gaelic footballer as well. So I played that right up until I was 18, 19, and then I obviously had the big decision to make whether I keep continuing playing Gaelic football or I go with my dream probably as I get older of becoming a professional footballer, and I was obviously signing for Derry City.
At what point then did you think that football was a viable career for you then?
Probably when I got offered my first professional contract. See, I'd done all my years of school. I went to college in Belfast. I was studying a sport and leisure management course. I was actually into the second year of it, and I played for Dungannon Swifts. I just broke into the first team, doing really well. I had a good period for about 5-6 months where I was doing really well, and then Stephen Kenny was managing in Scotland, and he just came back to Ireland, and he got the Derry City job at the time, and he phoned me up and just said I would love to sign you. We're going to offer you a 3-year contract, 3-year professional contract, and then straight away, obviously spoken to the family and stuff. And at the same time, Gaelic football is amateur football. Obviously, you don't get paid, etc. So I had the opportunity to go and play for my county, which was massive, and they get to play in obviously Croke Park in front of 80,000 people or whatever. And back at that time, it was a big catch because the opening of the lights at Croke Park was Tyrone. We were going to play Dublin, and I had the opportunity to play in that, but I also had the opportunity here to become a professional footballer. And thankfully, looking back now, I've definitely made the right call.
Is there skills in both sports that can that you've picked up that you can transition to both? You know, like if you're saying you obviously enjoyed playing Gaelic, was there things like that transitioned into football and vice versa?
I think just even the whole training, I think it made me like very robust. I think just the fitness side of things, Gaelic was it's 15 aside, but you had to be really, really fit. It was probably a wee bit more old school training wise and stuff. You're running up and down hills, and I was training 5 nights a week, maybe 3 nights Gaelic, 2 nights with a soccer, and then I was always a soccer match on a Saturday and a Gaelic match on a Sunday. So it was all I knew. I wasn't a big partier, I wasn't a big drinker, so I just kept myself busy with all that. And when the opportunity came to sign a professional contract with Derry City, I just jumped at the chance, and I signed a 3-year contract with Derry, and then obviously signed with Derry, and I just went on to just have an unbelievable first season. But Stephen Kenny was a massive help in that. I think the first sort of 3 months I was travelling sort of back and forth quite a bit, and he put his arm around my shoulder and he just says, look, you should move to the city and just get to know the city, get to know the people, enjoy playing for the football club. And then I ended up living in Derry for a year. Paddy McCourt was there at the time, and I think I signed in January. In the August, Paddy McCourt ended up moving to Celtic, and then never in my wildest dreams did I think 6 months later I'd be following in his footsteps and obviously making the move across to Scotland as well. And even towards the end of that season, I just had a brilliant season. I ended up winning Young Player of the Year in Ireland, and my agent was very good at the time because he never put no pressure on me. It was always, he was doing everything in the background. And Swansea were actually watching me for 6 months and I knew nothing about it. And I actually went over to Swansea for 2-3 days. Roberto Martinez was the manager. And brilliant guy, brilliant person. He went out of his way, came to the hotel, met me, brought me to the match, came in at half time, even spoke to me after the game. He came to the hotel and spoke to me as well. So my heart was set in Swansea. But this was when I didn't know much interest about the Celtic thing. So we're back home and everything was good to go with Swansea. Got a phone call from the agent saying Neil Lennon's been on the phone. Celtic want to sign you. So straight away I was buzzing because being where I'm from, it's either Celtic or Rangers. And then just a whirlwind probably 18 months because towards the end of that season at Derry City as well, I ended up getting a phone call about making my competitive debut for Northern Ireland as well.
It's as you said, that signing for Derry City and then all that happening so quickly and then moving to Celtic. Could you believe, just how quick things were moving, how quick things were transitioning?
It probably, I think the way with how everything just moves so quickly, I think you just take it in your stride, and it's probably just my personality and how I am. I'm quite laid back and good people around me, good family, friends, etc. So I just took everything in my stride. My agent was very good to me, Jerry Carlisle at the time as well, and he's turned out to be my friend more than anything now over the years, which is good. So it's having a good relationship with the right people, and I think just sort of having that background of playing Gaelic football, moving into full-time football, having that experience, and then just moving across to obviously Celtic, not getting into the first team straight away, getting into the development squad to sort of improve, because I'd only 1 year full-time football behind me, so I was going sort of from part-time football, Dungannon, maybe playing in front of 80 to 100 people, to 2 years later to making my debut at Celtic in front of 60-odd thousand people, which was crazy. But in between getting my competitive international debut, I think because everything's just going so well, you're just getting confident in yourself, and everything just is so positive. You're staying away from injuries and you're not really having any major setbacks. You just take it all in your stride and just utilising every opportunity that came my way at that young age. And thankfully, things worked out okay.
And how did you find moving? Obviously, you said originally from a small town and village to then Derry, and then moving to a big city like Glasgow. How did you find that transition?
It was difficult, yeah, but at the same time, probably enjoyable. I think I wasn't moving to the other side of the world. We'll probably speak about that later on, because I ended up moving to the other side of the world for 6 months. But I was only across in Glasgow. It was 25-minute flight. Everything was very close. Friends, family would come across as much as I possibly can. I'm playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and people want to come and watch you, and people are interested in your story, etc., etc. And they just want to come and just watch you. I have the opportunity of playing for Celtic, of course, watching Celtic as well. But I used to go across on the boats and planes years ago to even watch Celtic matches and stuff. But to have the opportunity of actually becoming a professional footballer at Celtic and playing for them, it was just a dream come true, if I'm being honest.
And how did you manage that expectation level going into Celtic? Obviously, you said that you were in the development side. Did that help that sort of transition as well?
Yeah, I think just everything, just in general, of just having experiences along the way, being young, even sort of having knockbacks of maybe going on trials. I went trial at Crewe when I was younger, and actually done well in the trial and scored a couple of goals, but just didn't get picked. I think the manager more or less said I was too small, etc., etc. But having we knockbacks throughout your sort of early days and having positives, I think everything stands you in good stead for sort of anything that comes your way, opportunity wise and club wise, being around the professional environment, speaking to the right coaches, and just taking advice as much as you possibly can off people that help you sort of on your journey along the way. But more importantly, listen to the people who are there now and that can help you on your journey regarding any sort of club that you're at. But I just took every opportunity as much as I possibly could. And look, a football career, it doesn't last long, but you can prolong it for as long as you can. And big thing for me, I've always said, it's to become a professional footballer, it's so hard. But I think to maintain it for so long probably ends up being nearly harder, I think. And I've been lucky enough now for the guts of 20 odd years. I've managed to do that.
How would you rate your time at Celtic then? Some people might look at it and go, maybe wasn't as successful in terms of the playing time, but you obviously had some success in terms of silverware. How would you look back on your Celtic time now?
I think when you're involved in a big club like Celtic, I always find it's you taking your opportunities when they come along, but it's being in the right place at the right time, and it's having a bit of luck as well. Because if I'm being honest, I went across there, moved into the development team, done well. I ended up I was there for a good 6 months in the development squad, which I loved. Back then you had the reserve league, so you're going to maybe Ibrox and you're playing in front of maybe 5,000-6,000 people for a reserve game against Rangers, and I really enjoyed that side of things, because more often than not you're playing against proper first team players. Had the opportunity to come in and train with the first team a few times, which was good. And then we just got a new manager under Tony Mowbray who came in the summer, and I was just sitting in the house on a Friday night, and Celtic were playing in the Wembley Cup. Tottenham Hotspur, I think, I had like Tel Aviv or something, or two other teams. But I remember watching the game on the Friday night and thinking, wow, I'll be unbelievable to play in that. And then lo and behold, I got a phone call after the match saying you need to be at the airport tomorrow morning. You're going to be in the squad tomorrow. So I get the phone call straight after the match, and I had to fly down to Wembley on the Saturday morning. I was on the bench against Tottenham Hotspur at Wembley, and then I came on maybe the last 10 minutes or so and made my debut at Wembley for Celtic. It is a friendly sort of match, but it's still a cup match. We end up winning the Wembley Cup because we end up getting the better results over the course of the 2 days. But that was actually my debut for Celtic at Wembley against Tottenham, which was crazy.
Does your current captain give you a bit of stick, given he's such a big Rangers man?
He never be quiet about Rangers, that's for sure. He's first to show me pictures. He's first to show me videos of him being in even in the Aberdeen away end at Rangers last 2 weeks ago. He was in the away end. He was glad to show me a few videos and stuff. But it's always light-hearted banter amongst everybody, like Celtic or Rangers fans. But regarding my time at Celtic, back to that. Sorry. Just the first season under Tony Mowbray was absolutely brilliant for me. I played a lot of football, scored a few goals, scored in the Scottish Cup, etc. And then Neil Lennon obviously came in after Tony Mowbray left. Tony Mowbray was brilliant for me. He gave me my debut and he ended up playing me a lot, even though I wasn't starting some games. I was always coming off the bench. And then the very last training session of that season, I ended up doing my metatarsal. So what I was speaking about earlier, it's just probably a wee bit of luck along the way that you need as well. So I ended up doing my metatarsal. Neil Lennon came in and I missed the first maybe 2-3 months of his role. And then I remember when I came back from that injury, my very first 2 games under Neil Lennon, I ended up scoring 3 goals within a week. And I was flying again. I was doing really well. And then it got to the January transfer window. And then what I was saying earlier, sort of being in the right place at the right time, etc. Manager, players. But we brought in the likes of Chris Commons, and Chris Commons just came in and straight away and just hit the ground running and scored plenty of goals. So that probably put me down the packing order a little bit. And then, I made a few appearances between then and the end of the season. And I got to the end of the season, and then I just thought the best thing was probably to maybe go out on loan and just get going again. So if I didn't probably have that injury, who knows what could have happened. But look, I would never change my career for the world, because sometimes to take that step back and leave Celtic and go to Brentford and just have a real good year of playing football week in, week out, 45, 46 odd games, that stood me in good stead when I got to move to Aberdeen straight from there.
The first fan question is actually from my daughter, if you'll indulge me. She wants to know, how did you manage to play at left wing? Is that always the position you wanted to play, or how did you come into to be in that position?
I was always an out-and-out winger. I was obviously very, very quick, direct. I was always just get out defenders and just try and get crosses in the box as much as I possibly could. And I always found that, like with Derry City at the time, my first professional contract, I played on the right, but mostly I ended up playing on the left. I think the manager just liked me on the left because I had a sort of real eye for goal, coming inside and getting my shots away, and vice versa. Sort of, because I played Gaelic football, I was always quite... I had 2 feet and I used both feet, yes, and predominantly right-footed, but my left foot was, I'm not saying it was brilliant, but it was okay, do you know what I mean? It allowed me to get a half yard to get across it, and I scored a few goals over the years with my left foot as well. But I think as the years went on, and obviously your pace goes more so than that, I just I got that stage where I was just sort of always about get that half a yard away to get crosses in the box, get shots away, and then if you're coming inside, you always have the overlapping of a full-back, and you've got the link play with the striker as well, and your midfielders, etc. So it's just trying to have just more strings to the bow on your whole sort of, I don't know, you as a player and what you can bring to the game. And it's just if you have more assets and sort of being direct and get crossed in the box, and it allows you to sort of have a better opportunity of probably being a little bit more consistent and being involved in games over a prolonged period of time.
You mentioned obviously you then left Celtic, went to Aberdeen, where, excuse me, particularly your first spell there probably had your most successful part of your career to date, because you never know, you could have more success in the future, hopefully with Peterhead. Talk us through that first spell with Aberdeen, then for 5 years I think you were there, League Cup winner, etc. How good a time was that for you?
I've always said it, Aberdeen's been my best part of my career, where I've just been enjoying football the most and been just so consistent, constantly getting the semi-finals and finals, getting playing in Europe, and then obviously winning the League Cup as well. So I had a brilliant sort of 7-8 years there, working under a few different managers. And big thanks has to go to obviously the late Craig Brown for bringing me to the club first and foremost. But I was just smart play from my agent. Craig Brown was over. He was coming to Ireland to watch a striker, so he was to obviously sign for Aberdeen. And I was just coming towards the end of my contract. I just left Brentford. I was going to be a free agent, and my agent asked me to come along. So I met Craig Brown as a person, and he met me, and we got chatting and different things. So we went to the game together and got talking, whatever. But he lent into my agent at half time and more or less just asked, what's the situation with Niall? Like, is he like in contract or out of contract? Would he be interested in coming to Aberdeen? And obviously, we nip and joke about different things. But going up in the car, he leant in and he said to me, "Look, would you love to come to Aberdeen?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." But big thing that stood out for me was I always played as a wide player, but Craig Brown just sort of being shrewd and sort of smart and how he was as a person and sort of knowing the game and knowing obviously coming up against me and playing a Celtic and he was quite quick and direct and sort of had a knack for goals as well. So straight away he said, "Look, I'd love you to come to Aberdeen as a striker." And straight away I'm taken back and said, "Yeah, why not? Like you see me as a striker." So lo and behold, that was my only season as a striker, my first season at Aberdeen, and my best goal return. I ended up scoring, I think, 21 goals that season. So for him to see that in me was incredible. And having that good season on a personal note was brilliant for me. Although team wise we weren't great, I think we maybe finished 7th, maybe or 8th that season. But personally, to have that first season that I had and be up for like Player of the Year and stuff like that, and I get into Team of the Year and stuff like that. So to come to a club like Aberdeen and have such a good first season, it sort of bolds you in good stead to sort of what happens after that, if you know what I mean.
Did you ever see yourself playing as a striker? You said it was your best return at Aberdeen is in that position. Did you ever see yourself when you were growing up, whether it be Derry or through at Celtic, as playing out and out as a striker?
Probably not, if I'm being honest. Yes, I always found myself, even at Derry City, my first professional contract, I think I scored 10 goals from wide midfield last season. But I don't know, different managers have said it to me over the years, and even Michael O'Neill in Northern Ireland, and he would sort of laugh and joke about different things. He would even say to me, like, you shouldn't be in that area where you end up scoring that goal and different things. Like my goal in the Euros when I scored against Ukraine, I was playing right side of midfield, and Josh McInnes at the time, he came on and he was just playing up front. So Josh ended up being on the right, and then I ended up being in the middle of the goal, 6 yards from goal, and I ended up scoring one of the most important goals in Northern Ireland's history. But I just always found I just sort of knack trying to be in the right place at the right time. And yeah, it's definitely helped me over the years. I don't know what it is, whether it's instinct or I guess I worked on a lot of things like crossing and finishing over the years, but I think it's hard to coach somebody to have that instinct of sort of maybe being in the right place at the right time, if you know what I mean. It's
almost like your goal against Hamilton the other week there, just sort of drifting into the back post and being there at the right time, the right place at the right time. Yeah, it was just I knew Danny put on a great cross, and it's like always, like even now when I'm speaking to the 14s, if a fullback or a wide player's crossing the ball, it's just the opposite wide player trying to get into the back post, and thankfully I get in at that was just a good timing, good cross, and in the right area. So nice finish, but unfortunately we end up losing the game. So but it's just trying to take opportunities when they come along regarding of trying to get on the score sheet. So I always feel that I'll always come up with a goal or two if I get sort of opportunities, if you know what I mean. So it's just having the knack of being in the right place at the right time and obviously scoring goals. Talk us through the League Cup victory then. It's a well-known quote for Stuart Mill, 120 minutes and it goes to penalties, to paraphrase slightly. What was it like for you during that day? Wow, worst game of football ever, the final. But regarding the whole, I think it was good because we're playing against Inverness. Obviously, Inverness don't have a massive support. They must have maybe 10,000 fans there, which is brilliant for Inverness and brilliant for the club. The match was moved to Celtic Park. We had 45,000 Aberdeen fans there, which was incredible. So even just the journey down, the journey up to the stadium, and anywhere you looked, it was just Aberdeen fans. There was no real, you couldn't see much Inverness until you obviously get out onto the pitch at the stadium and you see the Inverness fans behind the goal. But to sort of fill Celtic Park and mostly of Aberdeen fans, it was just incredible. Yeah, the game wasn't the best, but we ended up winning, and that was just a massive sort of relief to everyone because
probably that season as well. We St Johnson beat us at Ibrox in the semi final. We went 1-0 up when I scored, but we should have done a lot better than what we did, and with the team we had. But unfortunately, we always came up against good Celtic teams at that time under Rodgers, etc., etc. So yes, it was always difficult, but to even get the semi-finals and finals was great achievements for us. Although I probably would have liked to win another trophy or two, but regarding memories, experiences, unbelievable. And we've seen that when we won the trophy, the crowd of people on Union Street, there's over 100,000 people there from the top of Union Street to the bottom, was just incredible. And great memories, and good bunch of boys to obviously share the dressing room with, manager, everything, because he put a lot of work into it, and he got what he deserved as well over his period too.
The penalties, obviously, it is a lottery. Did you think that you were going to win it at that stage?
I was hoping we won it the way we did, because I was hitting the 5th penalty and Rooney scored the 4th penalty to win it, because they'd obviously missed a couple. So now we always practice penalties, and I was hitting the 5th one. So you had Nicky Lowe, who's always confident, Barry Robson, Charlie Vernon, Adam Rooney, and then I was hitting the 5th. So yeah, I would have been a nervous boy stepping up to hit that 5th one, that's for sure. I've scored a couple over the years, but I've also missed a couple. So I'm thankful that Rooney won it first and the 4th one, and there we were all celebrating.
You mentioned your international career, obviously, 70 odd caps, I think it is. You've got for Northern Ireland. Playing in the European Championships must have been the highlight for you.
Yeah, no, it was just even playing international football in general. It's just the excitement you get, the opportunities you get to play against some of the best players in the world. Ronaldo, for instance, but to play in a major tournament, I think as any young boy, you grow up and you play in Euros. Growing up, you watch these European tournaments, you watch obviously the World Cups, but to have the opportunity to share the stage with some of these players at a major tournament is just incredible. It was the first time that we had Northern Ireland had qualified for a major tournament in 30 years. So for us, even to win the group that we did at that time, like we had Romania, with Greece, with Hungary, with Finland as well, like with a tough group, and for us to top that group was incredible. And we end up going to the Euros, and first game Poland beat us 1-0, and then we sort of went quite defensive. We changed the formation, and I thought with changing the formation, going like more of a 4-3-3, I thought I'd more chance of playing. And yeah, came on maybe last half an hour, and we're 1-0 up, and I end up scoring the second goal, which guaranteed us a quicker playoff into the last 16, because we played Germany in the third game, and Germany only beat us 1-0, so the goal difference was good in our favour, and we end up qualifying for the last 16, which was unbelievable for Northern Ireland as well at that time. So remarkable memories, and yes, going there, having the tournament, enjoying it, and having experiences, but sort of actually going there and scoring for Northern Ireland was just a moment that'll live with me for the rest of my life. And obviously all the people that were there and not people that were there, was just unbelievable.
Is that one of your most proudest moments in football as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. No, you're on the international stage. You've just scored for Northern Ireland, and like you're just even. I remember even coming off the pitch and just yes, you do media and stuff, you do interviews, but I've never witnessed media like this in my life. You've just come off the back. You're doing reports from all over the world, Germany, Norway, Holland, just wherever. You're just doing reports. You're doing that many interviews. It's absolutely crazy. So. But straight away, it's like anything. It's yes, the fans get to enjoy all these moments there and then, but we're straight back to the hotel again and just back recovered again, because we're obviously getting ready to play Germany a few days later. So we end up playing Germany at PSG Stadium, and then obviously we played Wales that year in the last 16. They end up beating us 1-0 with an OG, and how Wales done that year was unbelievable. They end up beating Belgium, I think, as well for the 4-3 game, if you can remember it. So they got to the semi-final that year as well. So Portugal won it. But yeah, just surreal experiences. You're coming up against Germany and the caliber of players they have, etc. It's just great memories, and thankful I'm a very lucky man to have those memories to look back on.
Is that as good a Northern Ireland squad that there has been, do you think?
I think, years ago, obviously, like George Best, etc. You had talented players over the years, but I think even now, I think it's going to maybe benefit us in the longer run with sort of maybe the Nations League, with winning the Nations League, having another opportunity to get through the back doors, you'd like to say, to get into these major tournaments. You've always a second crack at it. So I think it's becoming easier to have the opportunity to qualify for these tournaments now, which is going to obviously help Northern Ireland and help the sort of the smaller nations. But back then, when we were trying to qualify, and I was just so difficult, and we're thankful we done that, and we were close to qualifying for the World Cup as well, and we could beat in the playoff final too. So I just think going forward now, although it will be difficult, of course, but I just think it's going to be a lot easier, because I remember 3-4 years ago, although Scotland weren't doing great, but they ended up having a good sort of Nations League campaign. They gathered a bit of momentum from that, and then they end up obviously qualifying for the Euros, and they're now qualifying for the World Cup due to obviously having a good group campaign, thankfully over like a longer period of time as well. So the consistency's there for Scotland, but for the likes of us, Northern Ireland, we've got a real talented bunch of players coming through, but it's just having that sort of consistency of doing well in the group stages. And we've got a semi-final to look forward to now. We play Italy, which will be tough, obviously, and then the winners play, I think it's Bosnia or Wales, which will be tough to get to the World Cup. But with having such a good Nations League campaign, that's allowed us to have the opportunity to obviously qualify for another major tournament.
Question before we move on: which one of your managers or coaches do you think has been the biggest influence on your playing career?
No, it's probably too many to name. I think when I was younger, it was Dixie Robinson, Joe McAree, and Stephen Kenny as well at Dungannon and then Derry City. I think I've been so fortunate to work under a lot of good managers, but Derek McInnes has to be probably the top one. Him for sort of the longevity I spent with him day to day, the consistency in my game, him helping me, and obviously vice versa, me and the team helping him to get results as well. So Derek McInnes would be the standout sort of club manager that I worked under, and then Michael O'Neill was brilliant for me with Northern Ireland as well. I end up getting a lot of caps under Michael O'Neill as well, but Derek McInnes is probably your top one, and then obviously Craig Brown as well for bringing me to the club first and foremost and having that one season with him.
So on to everything Peterhead did. How did you end up playing at Peterhead? How did the move come about?
To be fair, I always actually enjoyed coming up to Peterhead. I know I played here Aberdeen pre-season game, scored, and played against for Dundee a few seasons ago and scored. I remember that night Peterhead were absolutely brilliant. It probably should have been 1 or 2-0 up against us, and then we end up winning the game 3-1. I think
we got cheated out of a penalty.
We're done.
Yeah, I remember. I think you should have had a penalty, and then we end up getting the penalty. I scored the second, and then Josh Mulligan ended up scoring the third. But I always kept in close contact with Cammy Smith, and I bumped into him a few times and just spoke to him. I knew I was finished my contract with Glentoran, and then I obviously went across to Martin for one season. So I knew I was coming to the end of my contract. I still had my house in Aberdeen. I was looking to maybe get in at Aberdeen and start coaching as well, but I still was eager to obviously be involved and still play football, because I've been fortunate that I look after myself, and I've been injury free as well over the course of the season as well. So I spoke to Cammy, and then obviously Cammy spoke to Jordan and Ryan, etc., and made the phone calls, and we spoke, and the interest just sort of grew from there, and everything just sort of made sense to obviously come back, live back in my house again, start coaching Aberdeen, and then obviously still be involved with Peterhead as well. So it's all worked out nicely, thank God, and I'm enjoying it, because I'm still playing at a relatively good level in League One as well, and with the boys doing so well last year, winning the league and getting promoted as well, I'm coming into a change room full of positivity straight away as well. So it's been enjoyable, thank God, and it's just trying to obviously bring my experiences and just trying to help other boys as much as I possibly can as well, and coming back and seeing familiar faces. Of course, the manager, he was a young lad when I was at Aberdeen, coming through the system as well, and obviously playing with Cammy Smith and playing with Peter Pollitt and boys like that as well. So you're coming into a change room with a talented group of players as well to be involved with.
We've kind of joked a little bit a few times on the podcast. Obviously, Pete signed first, then Cammy, then you. So we're kind of half expecting somebody else from the 2014 Aberdeen League Cup winning side to walk through the door. You know, somebody like Jamie Largfield might come out of retirement, or something like that. Or Adam Rooney might rock up. But I guess for you guys, meeting up and playing again together must be good, though.
Yeah, it's good, because straight away, like Again, when you go in that change room, and if you don't know many boys, it maybe take you a while to settle in. I'm always quite a quiet fella, like in a change room and stuff. But regarding training wise, I'd always be vocal, etc., and trying to obviously win and do my best and training and drive standards as much as I possibly can, because it's just always been better in me from a young age to be competitive and just drive standards as much as I possibly can. So now to walk in that change room full of familiar faces, it helps you settle in quickly straight away. And like anything, it's you're walking in that dressing room. As I said earlier, they've just come off winning the league, so there's a good sort of winning mentality there. There's a good team spirit there. Yes, you have a lot of Glasgow boys, and you have a lot of obviously Northeast boys as well. So now there's a good mix of both. Although you don't get to spend much time with everybody for much over the course of the week, but when you do see everybody once during the week, and then obviously at the weekend, it's always nice. And everyone's just wanting the best for each other, and it's ultimately down to performances and results on the pitch that everyone has to. If you're getting performance on the pitch, then mostly things outside of football to sort of take care of itself regarding sort of enjoying training and enjoying match days as well.
There are a few big characters in that Peterhead changing room just now, isn't there?
Yeah, you can't get a word in the likes of Jason Brown, etc. But Jason's brilliant. He's obviously the team captain and stuff, but he drives standards as well, and obviously the coaching staff as well. There's three of them. The new goalie coaches just came in, John, as well. So there's a good sort of mix of sort of experience, and obviously there's a lot of talented players in the change room as well, and you're going to need that. Whether it's talented players, older players, experienced players, and then players that just know Peterhead first and foremost, because you need people who know the club inside out, and you have that. But I think that comes from the outside in, and like even to now, that when you're going up even after a match and you're getting food and stuff, all the away teams are blown back by even the hospitality and how things be done at Peterhead, and that's a credit to the people at the club, and it's a credit to everybody that's involved in the club, because more often than that, sometimes in football, you go to clubs all over Scotland or all around the world, and you're maybe not treated as nicely, but I can definitely guarantee you that when you go to Peterhead, you're always treated with respect, and that's been the home team or the away team, and it's always been like that over the years. And even any time I've came with Aberdeen and Dundee or any team I've came with, it's always been like that. So now it's been definitely the same since I've signed as an Aberdeen or a Peterhead player as well.
It's the first time you've played at this level in Scotland. How have you found the level? Was it how you expected? Is it better? Is it worse? What did you think?
No, the level's good. I always find in any level, no matter what level you play at, even when I went back home and played in the Irish League again for 18 months, I just always find that no matter whether you're playing League 2, League 1, Championship, SPFL, there's always talented players in every league. It's the old cliche. It's what you want to do with your career. Do you want to go on and be a professional footballer? What strives you to become better? How you can improve? Whether you're just playing for enjoyment or whether, as I said, you want to make a career out of it. But no, there's talented players in the league, and there's talented teams as well. You're coming up against sort of some biggest clubs that have been around the SPFL in years gone by, such as Inverness, Hamilton's, etc. as well. So no, every game, and I can't speak too much about League 2, but I know the boys done excellently last year, and their consistency was very, very good. And I think it's just trying to get that consistency in League 1. And yes, it probably feels from the outside in we're getting punished a lot more by better teams, better players with maybe silly mistakes throughout the team. And not only does that come from the keeper, the back four, but that comes from all over the pitch, because 10, 11 men on the pitch, you want to obviously do the utmost for yourself first and foremost, but for the club to win games as much as you possibly can. So yeah, it's been a good standard. I'm probably been a bit surprised. Yeah, there's a lot of good players in the league as well. So for us as a team, I know I'm probably not looking too far into things regarding of actually talking about the league, but no, it's been a good test for the boys, and it's been a lot of learning curves along the way as well. So it's regarding where the team is at the moment, that's probably the old cliche, the table never lies, but we want to stick together. We want to just sort of get back to winning games, get back to basics. I think a big thing for us is we need to keep clean sheets. If we keep clean sheets, we'll always create chances with the players that we have in the squad, I would imagine.
And tell us about your role in the team then. I think for a lot of people saw that you signed, they might have automatically thought you'd be maybe one of the starters, but you've only started twice in the league in 19 appearances. This is, although you've started most of the Challenge Cup games, Scottish Cup game as well. Was that always going to be the case for yourself? You would be primarily a impact sub, if you like?
No, the conversations, like I was just honest. I just wanted to come in and just play as much as I possibly can, and I haven't started one league game at home all year, which is crazy to think. Yeah, I think I started two away games. But yeah, no, if I'm being honest, I want to play more, and I've always been like that. Of course, I want to play more. But yeah, the decision's down to the manager, whatever he feels best, coaching staff, whatever they feel best is the best team to get onto the pitch. Of course, you'll always feel that you can maybe do better than others, but that's just my personal opinion. And obviously, others probably feel they can do better than me, and vice versa. But for us, it's just, I think it just needs to be healthy competition. And if you have the likes of myself maybe on the bench, it keeps maybe the younger players, the fresher players, the talented players more hungry to maybe go and impress more. So it has its benefits and has probably its negatives as well. So it's like anything, whether you're a young player, older player, more experienced player, it's like anything. Everyone wants to run the games. And I mean, if you get 4, 5, 6 games on the bounce, then you sort of can bring your best foot forwards. And yeah, I probably haven't had that over the course of the season. But I think if I'm 27, 28 years of age, I'm probably going chopping the manager's door every week. But I'm at a stage now where you have to respect people's opinions and people's views on things. So yeah, there's no real plan for me when I came in where I was going to be a bit part player or where I was going to try and play every week. The KDM has been good for me because I've played a lot of games in that, and I've got to enjoy that side of things. We're scoring a few goals, etc. Even coming up against younger players as well, it's good experiences for them. And I even remember looking back now, I played against young Dylan Lobin and I scored 2 goals that night. And I actually said to Dylan, like after the game, I was like directly upon him, I was like, stick at it, you're a good player and give it your all. And then a few months later, he ends up making his debut for the Aberdeen first team, which was good to see. So now we things like that is just be proud moments where you're even just having a simple conversation on the pitch and there he is making his Aberdeen debut a few months later. But regarding me, I'm hungry as ever. I want to play, so that'll never leave me. So yes, I'm obviously 38. I'm not getting any younger, but of course I still want to play, and I feel I can definitely help the team, of course.
I'm assuming you're claiming the goal against Aberdeen, the one that was direct for the corner. It's not going down as an own goal, is it? You're claiming that one.
Nah. It was actually funny. We knew it was always windy in Aberdeen. Get the ball in high and top of the keeper, and I wasn't directly aiming for the goal, but I was just get in on target and then see what happens. And 100%, I'm claiming
it. Striker's instinct.
It was in the same game where I think we went 3-2 up, 4-2. I scored the second, but I tried to score from the corner again, hit the post.
Yeah.
And but now I've always sort of been a wee bit cheeky at times to try and maybe score. There's more often that when you find sometimes with keepers, you always see keepers at corners that they're always too busy trying to set everything up, and they're not concerned too much about their own goal line more so you can sort of catch a keeper out now and again if you've got the ability to do so.
You've scored against 3 teams this year for Peterhead, Aberdeen, Morton, and obviously Hamilton. You do like scoring against an old team, don't you?
Yeah, well, I think it happens so much in the world of football. I think I don't know, even just before the game, or maybe the manager's probably thinking that, look, you're coming up against your old team. We'll put Niall in. He probably knows a lot about the players, and then obviously have a knack of scoring goals as well. So now I was delighted to score against Greenock. Just so unfortunate that we couldn't go on to win with them going down to 10 men, and sort of the game just fizzled out a little bit, and with a big opportunity to sort of go and win that game, I thought at the time. And yeah, when it comes down to penalties, it's a lottery, but with 35 minutes to go and win that game with 10 men. And yes, it's never easy against 10 men. It's never easy against a championship outfit, but I thought at the time that was definitely a huge chance missed to obviously maybe get a wee run in the Scottish Cup, and who knows who you want to come up against. But now, scored against us. Nice to score against old teams at the time. I was Dungannon Swifts was my very first football club. My first time playing against them for Glentoran at the time. I ended up scoring a hat-trick, so I did, and then ended up scoring against them again. So it's not probably a nice feeling on their behalf, but you're on the pitch to do a job for your team. That's who you're contracted to, obviously, but sort of everything like that just goes out of the system. You want to just sort of do well for you and the team as much as you possibly can, no matter who you're playing for.
Maybe a bit early to talk about this, but question coming in: are you going to sign for another season? Have you even looked towards what you're going to do at the end of the season yet?
I haven't looked beyond the end of the season. No, I see a lot of the other boys are signing contracts. I haven't got the call yet, so they're obviously not wanting to offer me a contract. Clearly, I think. And I see Pete's signed on, and obviously Jack, and speaking to other boys about contracts as well. But if the club came to me and gave me another year, I'd definitely look at the chance, 100%. So yeah, it has to come from the club side. But regarding my side, if the club came to me with another year, I would probably 100% sign it, no problem. It allows me to play on, and I'm comfortable in the environment that I'm comfortable with. That I know all the boys, and I'm around the surrounding areas in Aberdeen as well. So I'm not at a stage where I'm 21, 22, making my way in the game, and I see myself going into professional football and trying to play at the highest level possible. I've done all that, and I've been fortunate. I've done all that, but I still think I can have a part to play with this group of players in the squad, 100%.
I know we're at times wearing on, but I want to get a quick look at tomorrow's game against Stenhousemuir down the road. Obviously, it's a team we've struggled against in terms of results. How has the sort of preparations been for this game this week?
Preparations have been good, considering over the course of the last couple of weeks with games getting called off, but we've still managed to play the bounce game on Saturday. We trained on Tuesday, and then we trained on Wednesday as well. So we're still managing to get plenty of training and plenty of analysis and stuff as well. And now we spoke about different things. Obviously spoke off the back of the Cove game, going into the Hamilton game. I thought for large periods of the game we played really well against Hamilton. It's just probably a freak accident, the third goal. But ultimately, what I said earlier in the conversation, if we keep clean sheets, we'll definitely chances of winning games. And I'll keep bowling back to that. It's the old cliche that many a dressing room I've been involved in. A lot of the talks, clean sheets, because you can go out and have a really good day and score plenty of goals, but there's the days when you actually don't play well, but if you still keep a clean sheet, you have more chance of winning games, and that's what Stenhousemuir are brilliant at there. I think if we're being honest here, if you put our squad of players against Stenhousemuir players, you'll probably take our squad of players over theirs, and that's if we're being honest about things. But regarding their consistency, their ability to keep clean sheets, and they obviously score a lot of goals as well, and have a real experienced manager. And Gary's been there for a few seasons now, and he's done absolutely brilliant for them. I know Gary, I played against him, and I had him as a teammate at Aberdeen for a short stint as well. And credit to him, he's got his team very organised, and they've been excellent this year. So really tough game. They gave us a bad beating at home, and then I think down there we were actually okay for probably about 50 odd minutes, and they kicked on and scored the second and third goal. So for us, it's just, I think even a big thing, even when we played Stenhousemuir earlier, even the away game, with a lot of possession, and we're doing really well. So I think it's important when maybe we're not doing well in games, that's where we need to be at our best, more so than probably feeling too comfortable in games, and then we can get slowly done throughout the game. So yeah, tough game tomorrow, but it's one we're looking forward to, because we haven't had many games this season, this into this calendar year. So that's a game we're looking forward to. Tough game, because we know it's going to be a battle, and it's one we're going to have to be ready for.
I was going to say, does the amount of call-offs that we've had already in this calendar year and this month alone, does that affect the kind of flow of things? You find it difficult to get back into it?
It can do, in the sense of if you're wanting to gain momentum in the season, because more importantly, you train during the week to look forward to a match on a weekend, and it's like anything. If you lose a game, you're looking forward to the next game straight away, because you want that next win, and sort of to counteract that, if you win a game, you're wanting the next game as well, because you're wanting to go 2, 3, 4 league games on the bounce. And I think that's what we sort of need to strive towards as well. But more importantly, we just need to get back to winning ways as quickly as we possibly can. Obviously, losing against Cove on Boxing Day, and then losing against Hamilton, as I said. So it's just get back on the horse again and look forward to that next game. And it's tomorrow, which will be a tough game. But it's one where we'll have to go there and give it our all, and fight fire with fire, and try and take our opportunities that come along, and more importantly, try and keep a clean sheet, as I keep harping on about.
And it's a game, although it's tough, we can win though, can we?
Of course we can win, yeah. I just find in this league, on your day, anybody can beat anybody, and I find that over the course of this season. A lot of good players in the league, a lot of good teams in the league. There's full-time teams, there's obviously part-time teams as well. But if we're a part-time team, and Stenhousemuir is a part-time team, like Stenhousemuir is probably a team that we sort of have to strive towards, to sort of learn off them what they're good at and how they've been so consistent over the course of the season. And back to what I spoke about, and that's keeping clean sheets and them scoring goals and being consistent and winning games as well. And that's why they found themselves so far up the table. So regarding being part-time and having a team to strive towards of being like is probably a Stenhouse Muir for us. But regarding other teams in the league, yes, full-time, it is competitive. But we've shown over the course of the season that we can mix it with the likes of a Queen of the South, although they beat us down there. But with probably a real strong performance at home where we ran out comfortable winners 3-0. So we have the ability to compete against the full-time teams at the right times. But when you're competing against them teams, everybody just needs to be on it regardless. And then obviously the part-time teams as well, we need to be on it as well. And that's why the league's so tough.
Excellent. Niall, absolutely a pleasure to talk to you this evening. Thanks very much for giving up your evening. I know we've run a little bit longer than when we anticipated, but really enjoyed the chat. Best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully we come back up the road with the 3 points and give the away support a good day. Martin, thanks very much for your company as ever. We'll see you probably on we'll maybe see you at the weekend. Probably see you at definitely on Monday. We'll be back for our usual show on Monday for hopefully talking about a big win at the weekend. But thanks very much for everybody who's been watching and for your questions. Thanks very much. We will see you again for another Friday Night Live very soon.